But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Let me tell you about my great God.
Hey guys, Pastor Tim here. Hope you're ready to get your day started off in God's Word. We are on Exodus chapter 18, and in this chapter we see Moses having to deal with the in-laws. Not specifically just his father-in-law, Jethro, but as we've seen previously in the book of Exodus, and even here as well, we see Jethro to be a man of God. He's a priest in the land of Midian. And we see throughout this chapter different things and how he talks about God, that he is a man that fears God, follows God. He understands the nature and will of God. So the advice that he gives Moses eventually in this chapter, we can understand and trust to be very godly advice. But first we see here, of course, he comes in to meet Moses with Moses' wife and his two grandsons. And he gives the names and the reason for the names in this chapter. But he comes forward to meet Moses, and Moses, of course, tells him everything that has happened. Now, Jethro has an idea of everything that has happened. The whole surrounding nations have an idea of what God has done in Egypt. But, of course, Moses, as all Christians should be, he's very excited to just tell his father-in-law all that God has done for him and for his people Israel, and taking them out from underneath Pharaoh and delivering them from the armies of Egypt, and bringing them thus far throughout all the challenges they've already faced on their wilderness journeys. And if anything, that should be a example to us as Christians. All right, be excited to tell other people about what God has done. Every Wednesday night I do teen class, and I ask the teens if they have any prayer requests or praises, and I love it when the teens bring forth praises. Hey, thank God. I just want to thank God that this happened in my life, that he allowed this to come to pass. It's a great thing to always recall the things that God has blessed us and how God has graced us in our lives. Don't forget that. That's why I say at the end of each and every video, hey, tell somebody what you got out of God's word today. Tell somebody about your great God. And that's what Moses is doing here with his father-in-law. All right, and Jethro, like I said, we know him to be a man of God, a godly priest. All right, that doesn't mean it's easier for Moses just to tell him what God has done. All right, you should also want to tell people who do not go to church, who do not follow God necessarily, hey, let me tell you about my great God, because that would be a great witnessing tool for you unto them. But anyway, they have a great feast. They rejoice in what God has done for the children of Israel thus far. And then the next day, Jethro notices something. He sees Moses go to work. In this chapter, it says that Moses is judging the people. He sits and he has the people that come up to him from morning to evening, all day long, just bringing all their little problems for Moses to judge upon, to decree what God's law says. All right, they haven't been given the 10 Commandments yet, but Moses is acting as the representative. If you want to say that this is how he's governing the people, that's not too far off, all right? But it becomes very apparent that this is not going to work out, all right? This is one man trying to bear the load of governing the entire nation of Israel all by himself, all right? And that's not how that should work. And Jethro gives him godly advice saying, hey, the thing you're doing is not good. You're going to wear yourself out. You're going to burn out. And it's only going to be to the detriment of yourself and to the detriment of the children of Israel, your nation. All right, so he gives them the advice of, hey, find you out good men. Not just good men, but men that fear the Lord. All right, and teach them God's law. Teach them how to interpret the things that may be brought forward unto them by God's law, and to enact judgment upon those things. Because a lot of these things he's talking about that Moses is having to deal with are small matters that someone else can take care of. So he's like, find you good godly men to help you judge, and delegate these matters unto them, and have you only deal with the far greater matters. All right, and this is a good picture for leadership. This isn't Moses shirking his duty, but too often people get burnt out because they try to carry the load all upon themselves. It's good to have people to help share the burden with. All right, especially when it comes to church, when it comes to the family and so forth. Don't try to shoulder it all yourself. Lean upon your spouse, lean upon your assistant pastors and deacons, and even in the secular workforce as well. All right, you don't want to burn yourself out thinking that only you can take care of all of these small matters. All right, and so this is godly advice that he gives unto Moses. All right, and we see Moses enact that later on, and his father leaves at the end of the chapter. All right, and that's all I got for today's chapter. In essence, it's kind of a short chapter, even though verse-wise it really wasn't, but it was short in the fact that it's really just talking about one main thing, Jethro's visit and what he sees and how Moses is governing the people. But as always, guys, I hope you're writing down everything that sticks out to you in this chapter. And like I said at the beginning, tell somebody today what you got out of God's word. Tell somebody about your great God. Hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.